The first time I probably got involved in the pipeline movement was after Sundance in July. In August, we was making plans to get up there. I was getting more educated on the pipeline. Years before that, we did the KXL pipeline run from Gordon, Nebraska to Lincoln, because the congressional people in the counties of Sheridan County and the counties going towards Lincoln were for the pipeline, but there was some opposition in some of the counties and some of the farmlands, and from the tribe. In the Panhandle of Nebraska is the biggest aquifer, the Oglala Aquifer, biggest freshwater resource, and they were trying to run the pipe through. 800,000 gallons per day through a pipeline going through our aquifer. And so we gathered 20 youth and we ran 4 days to Lincoln, Nebraska, to the state capital. And the governor gave us 15 minutes in front of the Capitol building for a little peaceful protest. And so we had speakers and we talked, educated our youth that ran on that run. And so when this Dakota Access Pipeline came up, it was the same pipeline that was going to go straight through the United States with no economic structure coming to any counties within the United States, but oil being exported out. I told my girlfriend, I told my sons at that time, we're going to do something. We're going to make a stand. We're going to put our feathers in. We're going to run. We're going to make a prayer, and we're going to go to Standing Rock. And so I finally got time in August to go up there and to see the camp myself, when the camp was at the time getting bigger. And so we did our run in October. September I was busy, and in October we made our run. We made our run that way. But before then I made some visits before. And so we got up there, and again I educated the youth of what's going on with the pipeline and going under our Missouri River. Out of the reservations in South Dakota, that Muni-Wechoni pipeline, that water comes from the Missouri River. And right now, probably about maybe 60% of our reservation gets that water through pipeline through the Missouri River with the Army Corps Engineers. And the Army Corps Engineers is the one that gave the approval for the pipeline to go under the Missouri River. So we took the stance to come back. There was already tribal members up there. There was tribal members that were already in the fatalities of Morton County Sheriff and law enforcement throughout the various counties. And so, the land that they were coming on and trespassing on was Indian territory from the 1858 and 1861 Fort Laramie Treaty. It's treaty land. To this day, it's still treaty land where the pipeline is going. But the city of Bismarck didn't want the pipeline to go through the city, fearing it will rupture and ruining their natural water drinking source. And so they said, okay, well, we'll just go through Indian land. We'll go under the Missouri River. That's the largest resource of water that is filtered through many filtering stations that go to the reservations in South Dakota. We all get that water. And so the Army Corps, without consulting with the tribes, with the Great Sioux Nation, gave the go-ahead to Dakota Access Pipeline and Energy Transfer to start drilling. And so a lot of people took a stance on that. A lot of people got tear gas, mace, shot with rubber bullets, bean bags, and water hose cannon and sound cannon. And all the time, as Lakota people, Dakota, Nakota, in the Oceti Sakowin, the 7 council campfires, the treaties, again, not being obligated to. There was a lot of misappropriations that was given, and a lot of go-ahead green lights given to Dakota Access and Energy Transfer without the consultations. So later on, whenever the people started, the solidarity that began with Standing Rock, when more and more people throughout the world was taking stands and being part of the movement, then finally Army Corps finally started having consultations with the tribes, and some of the tribal presidents and tribal council members of their respective reservations went to jail, were targeted, and were even part of the dog attack what happened. And so the consultation was going good, then they Obama back then finally made a decision, and December 5th, they gave the word that they denied the easement of the pipeline. And so there was a premature celebration. I was there at the campfire at Oceti Sakowin that day. And it was a day like this, really nice day. And so there was a celebration, a song and dance and fireworks. But I took my boys, I took one of my sons, and we walked through camp. And then we went on top of the hill, and I told him, I said, look around. I said, it's not over. We have a new administration coming in. Trump is going to sign. I said, so the battle is just beginning. It's not over. We're going to begin the fight here on January 20th. The fight is going to happen. I said, so that's when we have to stand stronger. We need more people to come here. And so, the veterans came on December 5th. We had the blizzard up there. And then I came back. At that time that they burnt out the fire of the main camp at Oceti Sakowin camp. And so Chase Iron Eyes and a group of women lit up another fire and renamed the camp to the Oceti Oyate camp. And so at that time, about 2 weeks later, my son called and he said, Chase wants you up here. Can you come and pray at our fire? Can you do a pipe ceremony? Chase wants to know if you could be the spiritual advisor. So I went up there and met Chase Iron Eyes and his little entourage that he works with. And my son was part of his working group. And so, we made that connection, and we did sweat lodges, and we prayed, and I helped him, gave him guidance. And so, throughout that time, action was going on the front line at the bridge on 1806 and up on Turtle Mountain, Turtle Island. What was going on there at the on top of the hill? There's a burial site, and historical sites that, with no regard to Morton County and Dappled, they dug anyways. And so my sons are up there, and they were part of the November 20th night, that Sunday night, when they got water hosed down, and they shot. Some of my boys got shot. My nephews got shot. They all got soaked in water. They got tear gassed, maced. And so it was hard. It was hard. And so November, December, January, I was back and forth from the pipeline, and the 22nd, when they gave the deadline to move out, some of the ones that went to jail on the last child camp, my son and my nephew was in there. And so it was like a diversion for Morton County and Dakota Access Pipeline to move in. So at 4 o'clock, when they made their move back in, 76 of the water protectors were in court in Mandan at Morton County. And so they weren't allowed access back into camp because camp was closed at noon. And the raid was supposed to happen at 2 o'clock. It happened at 4. And so my son called me, and he said, it's going down now. It's going down now. He said, the raid's happening. My youngest son was at the last child camp, and he called me, and he said, Dad, he said, we need prayers. And so I called Julian, my oldest boy. He went to jail, and he was at court. I asked him, I said, where you at? I said, what's going on? I said, Kobe's stuck down there. And he said, no, Kobe's on top. And he said, I'm coming back from Mandan, and they won't let us in. We're at the top of the hill when we're not being allowed in. But I had other friends that were down there that were documenting what was going on down there. And so, they kept in contact with me, and my son Kobe was with them. So, I was okay with it, but I was still in stress, So, what happened with that is, it's the fight's still going. The fight never ended. The camps may have been dissolved, and structures were burnt down in the yurts. Some of the yurts were burned down. The structures were burnt down. Some of the camps were taken down. Some teepees were burnt by North Dakota National Guard and by DAPO security and missionaries that were part of that. A peaceful camp, no weapons, nothing. Just prayers in that camp. And a lot of good people in that camp, a lot of good hearts in that camp that stood there to the final hour, that went to jail, that were humiliated in dog kennels and stripped down naked, but they stood there, they held their ground, Our Grandma Regina Brave, elder woman from Oglala, went to jail, standing for water and Mother Earth. There's a lot that I could name that I made friends with up there that did the sacrifice of, putting themselves in the front line. So, I have a lot of respect for them, for the courage they showed to stand up to the police brutality, to the inhumane arrest and treatment of transportation to the jails. And I pray for them all the time. Every morning I remember them, because it's similar to a soldier going to war, coming back with PTSD. A lot of these young men and women witnessed that. They were treated the same way, getting shot at, getting maced, getting tear gassed, sleepless nights because of threats of raiding the camp. So the fight is still continuing. The Oceti Sakowin camp, Sacred Stone camp, Rosebud camp may no longer exist, but there's camps throughout the United States that are against pipelines, what's going on. And as far as for us, my son and my nephews that made that stand, we're still standing with what happened at the pipeline. And so, we're making plans to do a run around the treaty land, to just show awareness that this is our land still, according to the 58 and 61 treaty, Fort Laramie. And the education that we need to put out there to the people that are out there and that are within the boundaries is that, this is our land still. Anything that, long as the grass is green, the river flows, is our land, according to the treaty. So, I'm really proud to have been a part of that at the later stages of the movement, but yet at the most powerful part of the movement of what happened at camp, witnessing the brutality of the police force used on the water protectors. And for my sons to witness that for themselves and making that stance as young men to continue to stand for what's right, and to see the power, the abuse of power of authority from the governor, from the mayor, Trump, and all that. They finally got to see that. It's out there. It's out there. But to be a part of it, to witness it, now they know that what is really out there in the open world, what's going on, and to see the solidarity amongst the human people, the race of mankind, not just the Lakota people, but through the 500 plus tribal nations in the United States, Canada, and overseas, that the people that came, the Norwegians that came, the Czechs that came, the Hawaiians that came, the Europeans that came, the Asians that came, all the race around the world that came to Standing Rock. And I was very proud that day to stand in camp, to be amongst the 17,000 plus people that was there to make that stance. I got to see that, and I got to witness that, and I got to pray with all those people. And so, it's not over. It's not over. And, I think it's time to continue to teach on the natural resources of clean energy, solar power, wind energy. And so, the movement's still there. And, we're very much part of it.